Hello, so we came together to do an assignment on San Pedro's Town Council financial statement for the year 2023, March 31st. So we were placed in groups to do this assignment, and they didn't specify how many persons should be in each group, but we came in a group of 3, which is myself, Javera Wagner, Nicole Kittle, and Angela Sanchez. One of us is from Belize City, the other one from Corozal, and the other one from Orange Rock. Now I will quickly move on to the question because the presentation has a time limit. Question number 1 is to determine whether the San Pedro Town Council is required to submit a budget in accordance with IPSAS and explain the reason for our answer. So the San Pedro Town Council is required to present its budget in accordance with IPSAS because they are a public sector entity, and IPSAS is designed specifically for government entities required to provide accurate basis accounting records for GPFS, which are the general purpose financial statement for its users. IPSAS is the most appropriate accountable standards for government entities like the town councils, which manages and are accountable for the public resources on behalf of its citizens. Furthermore, the adaptation leads to financial statement being transparent, comparable to the national and international entities. They seek accountability and complement of legislation. In short, the council is required to use IPSAS because they are a public service entity which is accountable for public resources, and IPSAS needs to provide international standards. So I'm moving on to question number 2, which states to provide a list of components of the statement of position that were presented by the San Pedro Town Council. So the list of components that were presented in the statement of position would be the non-current assets. Example of that would be property, plant and equipment, investment property, intangible assets. Number 2 would be the current assets. Example would be the trades and other receivables, such as the cash and the cash equivalent. Number 3 would be the current liabilities, which are the borrowings, severance payables, trades, and other payables. Number 4 would be current liabilities, which are the borrowings, the current position, severance payables, current positions, trade and other payables, deferred purchases, current positions, unearned revenue, and then finally the total net assets. Number 3 question states to provide a list of components of the statement of performance that the San Pedro Town Council should present under IPSAS. And as we move on to answer number 3 for that question, the components that should be presented on the statement of performance in accordance with IPSAS would be, number 1 would be the revenue, which is in accordance with IPSAS, such as the property tax, trade license fees, trade related revenues, building permits, liquor license fees, other fees and other penalties. Number 2 would be other revenues, which are the donations, rent, and concessions. Number 3 would be expenditure, which are utilities, supplies, contracts, financial costs, general admission expenses, which include salaries and wages. The other one would be net expenditure, which are the difference between the revenues and the expenses. Next would be the surplus, deficit, the gains and the loss, the re-evaluation of financial assets and liabilities, then the share surplus and deficits. and then the gains and the loss arising from the recognition of assets and liabilities. And then finally would be the surplus deficit from discontinued operations. Moving on to question number 4, which states, provide a list of required disclosures notes that the San Pedro Town Council did presently correctly in accordance with IPSAS. So as we move on to answer number 4, some of the list of disclosure notes that were presented correctly are the significant accounting policies, such as the statement of compliance indicating that IFRS was used. Secondly, the basis of preparation indicating that the historical cost was used. Functions and presentation currently stating that the national currency was used for presentation, the national currency which is the Belize dollars. The ongoing concerns, which indicates that the council financial statement was presented on a ongoing concern assumption, hence sustainable for foreseen future operation. Then the other one would be the recognition and measurement of property and plant equipment, which is in accordance with IPSAS. Recognition is when it is probably the economic benefit will flow. After that comes the depreciation and derecognition, then the impairment of non-financial assets, then provisions, then the cash and the cash equivalents, then borrowing, then revenue, then the financial instruments, which include issued funds. After that comes the accounting judgment and key source of estimation uncertainty, which are the useful life of the PPEs and the impairment of the PPEs. After that would be the financial risk management, which would be the liquidity risk and the credit risk, and then the operational risk. And then finally the subsequent event, which explains event that occurred before the reporting date, such as the Atlantic Bank loan, the loan that was done with the Atlantic Bank in August 2023, and events after the reporting date, such as the January 2024 bonds approval for the Ministry of Finance. I'm sorry, I meant to say from the Ministry of Finance. So the final and fifth question is, were there any deficiencies in the application of accrual basis accounting and IPSAS 1 presentation of the financial statement noted in the financial statement of San Pedro Town Council? If yes, please provide details of your conclusion. So to tackle question number 5, we found 3 discrepancies. Number 1, as it relates to IPSAS 1, there were no statement of comparison of the budget and actuals, and no separate statement of change in the net assets and equity. They seem to have merged it with their statement of activities, which was insufficient. The auditor's report identified that the statement was part of the overall presentation. However, it was not labeled on their table of content. Discrepancy number 2 would be terminologies differences. IPSAS use statement of performance with private entities use it, while private entities use the IFRS as profit oriented, and they use it on the face of their statement of profit or loss, or as the town council use statement of activities. Overall, they applied accurate basis accounting in accordance with the IFRS when recognition of measurements were applied upon recognition of point of economic benefits and cash flow, as opposed to the cash basis accounting. Thank you. We reached the end of our presentation.